So here we are, I'm Evan O'Hanlon. We're here at the IPC Athletics World Championships in Doha, hashtag Doha 2015, hashtag Beyond Incredible, and I'm here with Team GB today. On the far end, I have Sam Ruddock, Aled Davies, not Alex, Aled Davies, he just likes to throw a little curveball at me there, Georgina, Hermitage, and Joe, Butterfield. You can see the names, got them. All right, we're going to start down the far end. Sam, we'll start with you because you're the only one that hasn't got a gold medal on the panel, aren't you?
Yeah, that's me. The loser on the winner's bench.
Tell us about your comp so far.
Oh man, yeah, the F-35 shot. It was like a heavyweight title fight. I mean, everybody in the final, all 8 guys over 13 meters. The goal was running 14.02. I managed to throw 2 lifetime bests in the midst of that in round 4 and round 5, and even that before this competition would have put me in the medals easily. But in the space of an hour and a half of competition, the target just got moved further and further and further away. So I'm just happy I was able to stick with them. But it was an incredible final to be part of.
The Paralympic sport is really coming alive. Like obviously, you guys all from Team GB, and I'll be the first one on. You know, Australians never really like to give you guys much of a rap, but I'll be the first one to say that London really set our world alight, and it's really changed the whole landscape of Paralympic sport. So we've got events now that are just within the space of an hour and a half. The target just keeps moving and moving.
It was, and in Swansea at the European Championships in 2014, most of the competitors, if not all of them, were standing just a step back throw and shot. But we have now 5 guys, including myself, that are now rotational shot. See several palsy throwers, paraplegic throwers, rotating. The coaching has obviously improved so much more. So there's the technique. It's just the standard is just unreal now, especially in my class. And I wasn't expecting it at all. But our team has done so well to prepare us to deal with those situations at this level. So we're really lucky.
Because you also used to be a sprinter.
Yeah.
Like myself. So what happened?
I was too slow. No. Well, it's saying that the tables have really turned. The T35 sprints, you can't win a medal unless you're running sub 13. That was unheard of in Beijing, in Athens, when you could win a gold in 13 and a half, high 13 seconds. So I was being outpaced, and I had to move on. London 2012, that was my Paralympic debut in the sprints. That was on track. I'm now in the field, and safe to say I'm enjoying myself a lot more in the field than I was on the track. But I miss the glamour.
I reckon I might have a nice time on the field as well, because the track, we obviously we work very hard. But I always look over at the throwers swanning around in the sun with their shirts off. I mean, not that I haven't got my shirt off. That's, sprinters, you have to have your shirt off at the track as long as there's not too many clouds. You've got your shirt off. Sun's out, guns out. That's what we say in Australia.
You always got sun, you're lucky.
Yeah, well, most of the time, yeah. Not as much as here, though. Not as much as here. Speaking of here, Doha, you're having a good comp, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been an up and down season for me. But I came here, I'm injury-free, pain-free, and I wanted to deliver on the big stage. The events are moving forward, and it's nice to see who's doing what, with only a few months to go to Rio, where I wanted to see how I would do only 10 weeks post hernia operation.
So yeah, 10 weeks post hernia operation.
Yeah.
Feeling good?
Feeling better. Yeah.
And you feel like you're looking good?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm training through this, and this is probably the hardest goal I've ever had.
Because I've heard you've slimmed down a fair bit, because you said,
yeah.
I heard some of the other teammates were saying you heard there was going to be a lot of ladies over here in Doha with all the nations coming together, and you wanted to slim down just to make sure.
I was hoping I could bag someone who had something to do with oil. Set me up in a palace. Haven't quite found that yet. No, I changed coaches, changed my approach. I used to just be big and as strong as possible. Now I've gone for a 5-stone lighter, a quicker, leaner kind of approach to the event, and it seems to be working. I mean, like I said, it's been a long season, and I didn't perform as well as I wanted to, but I come here, got the win, and I can now look at it.
Cool, sounds good. Georgie? Now, speaking of gold medals and performances, yours was quite a performance the other night, wasn't it? Everyone else can say it, 'cause you're not going to say it. Everyone else
We're
can
all
say
nodding our heads like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, it was unexpected. I really just wanted to go out there and sort of just, my coach said to me, don't even try and run a hard race, just go out there and just enjoy it and just see where you end up, because I was going into that running sort of with no idea of how fast I was going to run, so more than what I expected.
Yeah, because I was commentating on the live stream at the time, so I don't know if any of you guys were watching the live stream back here, but you were in front almost coming off the first bend. It's unheard of.
Yeah, no, do you know, it was a really strange feeling. It was probably the first time I can say that I felt that I was running really comfortably and everything was really smooth. So I just thought I sort of hit the markers where I wanted to, and just on that final bend there was so much sort of left in the tank. That's when I decided to sort of press the button and see where we ended up. But to hit a world record was never, ever, ever even like after, because I've had 7 weeks off track since anniversary. I only put spikes on 2 weeks ago, just because my foot is just not completely bummed yet. So it's just, yeah.
And what did you think of when you were coming down that home straight? Because obviously you're getting tired, and you're already out in front, so you need extra motivation to be able to break that world record. I've heard and I've read that you often think about your daughter and how she's going to think about you in the future when you need motivation. Is that what you were thinking about?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, and more just hoping that the line would come sooner. But yeah, no, that's what it's all about for me. So thankfully she was here as well, which was a bit of a surprise. So and they did position themselves so that I could sort of see her sort of straight in front of me. So yeah, no, that was amazing.
Well, that's good positioning, because there's another man that might be able to use that kind of positioning as motivation tonight. Marcel Hoog goes in. I would like to give him a hug, but he's Hoog. We should position, if we want him to win, which I don't, because we've got Kurt Fernley going in his race as well, the Australian. But if we were wanting him to win, what we could do is get a lot of pancakes and a lot of dark chocolate, because I've heard he likes both of them, and if they're together, he likes them even more. So I pitched at the Australian team this morning on live with them, live streaming back to Australia this morning. I pitched to them that all of the Australian team, all 50 of them, should get down to the track, pancakes and dark chocolate, and blow it at the track, try and distract him from the tactics that are going on in the 5K tonight. But if people are watching and want Hoog to do well, then they should probably get down there, get rid of the Australians, get them out of the way, and place their pancakes and hot chocolate, or even better, dark hot chocolate at the end, at the finish line there.
David Weir.
Also, David Weir, it's going to be a big.
Got to back our squad out here.
Well, there was no need to mention the putting pancakes at the finish line, because we can get all of Team GB, all of Team Australia down there. We'll run the Doha out of pancakes and hot chocolate and dark chocolate, and we'll get them down there just blowing the smell towards
Make that Commonwealth connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
I just want to say, but I'm a little bit hurt by that. I was out that finish line waiting for you to look for me.
Yeah,
I thought I was the
How about
inspiration.
me?
You're there waiting, and she
Yeah.
picked her daughter.
I know.
Sorry.
You've come all the way to Doha.
Yeah. I've listened to her for 3 weeks.
You've trained so hard just to make the team, to be standing there at the finish line for her, and and yourself,
Yeah.
Joe, in the club throw.
That no one's ever heard of.
Your last name is Butterfield. There was no Butterfingers going on in the club throw, was there?
Did you really just do that?
It was a tax.
How did you feel during the goal?
Yeah, it probably wasn't my best goal, to be honest. I think I was nervous. I came in with a bit more pressure than normal. Yes, last year I did really, really well from nothing. And I thought this year people don't expect me to do well. So I was nervous. But I got a really good throw out in the third. And I smashed the side of my frame as I did it. These really good shafts managed to break my frame. So the last 3 throws were kind of not so good.
I'm going to get back to broken equipment in a second. But I also want to just ask, have you spoken to many people back home yet?
A few.
Yeah. Has anybody asked how come you got 16 throws and the rest of the guys only got the normal amount?
Yeah, no.
Because on the live stream we accidentally were commentating your warm-up throws as real throws, and there wasn't much information coming through from in our headphones. And I'd like to say it wasn't my fault, but you know, it could have been. And we were commentating your throws like they were your proper throws. So the BBC's probably going, hang on, this Butterfield's got a lot of throws. How does this club throw work?
No, I'm not going to. Never mind.
You said before as well, club throw, obviously not an IAAF event, but in Australia we have Ben Harridan. He's the Australian able-bodied discus thrower, national record holder.
Yep.
Shout out to Ben if you're watching. He's a good friend of mine, and he'll be in attendance at my wedding in a month's time. But Ben, he has a segment on YouTube called How Will It Throw? It's called Will It Throw, hashtag Will It Throw, hashtag Doha 2015, hashtag Beyond Incredible. Will It Throw, and people can write in and see how far he can throw things. So I think he threw an iPhone 70 metres with a spin disc and everything, and he left the camera on so that we could see it as it was flying through the air. So maybe we could write into Ben Harridan and he could try a club throw, but we'll give him a couple of rules. He can't do a spin, obviously.
He's got to do it sat down.
Yeah, he's got to do it sitting there. We'll just tie him down to the ground.
I've actually seen Dan Greaves for about 65, 70 years. Over his head.
There you go, Ben Harridan. Challenge. 65, about 65 minutes. We'll get a distance on that and we'll get back to you. Broken frames, talking about breaking stuff. There's a very clumsy man on the panel, I've heard, who's been breaking stuff almost since birth, but definitely since getting to Doha. Some may not know that Hannah Cockcroft, you're going to have to say her name. Cockcroft. Hannah Cockcroft, also known as Hurricane Hannah.
She is that, yes.
It's your girlfriend.
We may be closer than friends.
And how do you feel about being closer than friends with such a famous individual?
It's tricky at times. This is the first championships I've been to and genuinely done well, actually performed. She goes every championship she's been to. She's smashed everybody up in the water. World records, gold medals, all the titles going. But it's incredible to be able to see it, and she actually, it's corny, but her achievements actually inspire me to go to push myself further, and she is extremely supportive and has been through these champs too. So
A bit emotional, yeah.
Yeah, he's getting emotional.
No,
and now we're going to just dump him in by saying,
you go.
so far, since arriving in Rio, he's already broken Hannah's helmet, and he's also broken her case, was it, for the wheelchair?
A helmet case.
The helmet case. And the helmet.
No, I didn't break the helmet.
Oh, okay.
Who gave you this intel?
Well, can't tell.
You getting married?
I have spiders everywhere.
Don't drop that question again. Not here.
I heard there's kids on the way as well.
Marriage, the works.
And so, still on the Hannah subject, you said it's your first championships where you've done well, where you believe yourself that you've done well. You're making these guys feel pretty good about themselves because they've got a gold medal. You feel like you went well with the 4th place. So, but Hannah's obviously coming up. What event are you most looking forward to for her?
The 800 is the one. She'd be happy for me to admit she's the most. I don't know, maybe not nervous, but it's the one she has to pay most attention to because it's the event she's never competed before a World Championships, and she will happily admit as well she's a sprinter, flat sprinter like yourself, 100, 200. So for her to do a longer distance, the expectation, because she's so dominant in her class, is to win it outright. The pressure is really on her, but she'll bring her A game. She brings it to every championship, so I have every faith she'll come out on top.
And I heard there's like a little bit of extra added pressure on her because of you. I heard that you got in a little bit of trouble from her because you forgot to contact her after finishing your event. 4 hours, buddy.
No, it wasn't that long. We saw each other. We saw each other. I noticed her. She noticed me, and for years now, I've always wanted to go and find her and congratulate her after she won. But I was feeling pretty badass about myself after that competition. I thought, do you know what? For once, the Hannah Cockcroft is going to come find me. But she didn't see it that way. me. So we're gonna have a conversation this
She
afternoon.
was all like, Hannah, don't move for no one.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Money, just so you know, I'm obviously...
I need to do better. That's what she was saying.
I grew up with 5 sisters. I know how, I claim to know how women work sometimes. You're never going to win the argument. Just
I'm wrong, or I'm wrong.
two words to make your life a lot easier. Yes, dear.
Gonna be married in a month, you would know that.
To the man to the left of you, to the right for everybody else, do you know much about his love life? Is he single at the moment?
He's not single, he's taken man.
So why did you bother trimming down?
Well,
Because you have lost, like, my spider is fairly intelligent. He gives me a lot of information on you guys, but he managed to tell me in stone how much weight you've lost since Leon, was it?
Yeah.
And I still haven't been able to figure out what a stone is. Because you guys,
kilos?
yeah, we use kilo. I don't know.
So I was about 142 in Lyon.
Yep.
I'm 110, 112 now.
Cardio!
30 kilos.
Yeah.
Whenever the
It's a
sun's
lot
out.
easier when I'm downstairs and stuff.
Yeah.
Just general.
Getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
When I'm in the gym sometimes and I put the weight vest on, you put maybe 10, 20, 50, 100 kilos on,
Yeah.
and you do some exercises. I always think, how do people get up in the morning? Like, my life I feel depressed when I put the weight vest on. So you must be standing out there just
Nice
as
to
soon
be
as the
able to
sun's
look
out, you're just like,
It's just nice to be able to look down and see things, you know what I mean? And,
you mean
It's
check your nails. Your nail polish has been
No,
done.
I was in a bit of a pickle last year at the Commonwealth Games where I felt like my coach at the time had taken me as far as I could go. A lot of respect to him and everything he's done. But I wanted to try another pathway, and I spoke to my current coach now, Ryan Spencer Jones, and he said, you're fat. Basically, bluntly, he was like, you're fat, you're overweight, you're too big, because you're only throwing a 6 kilo shot and a 1.5 kilo disc. We should be very quick and a lot smaller. So he said, first thing we're going to do is shift some of that timber. And I managed to lose my first 3 stone in about 6 weeks.
And for conversion, that would be?
So my first
Because you guys did,
18 kilos and above.
I'm pretty sure you guys did sit down, back in the day, you guys at GB did sit down around the table and go, what's the weirdest form of measurement we could come up with so that no one else in the world would be able to understand it?
I never used
And then someone went, stone.
So I managed to lose my first 18 kilos in the first couple of weeks, and the volume of training kind of did the rest. But
It does feel good when you're able to concentrate on something and start bringing the goals down, especially something with weight, because you can weigh yourself every day or every couple of days, and you see the goals coming in and your hard work meaning something.
Yeah, well, I mean, for what he wanted me to do technically, I needed to be a lot lighter. I've had so many injuries due to my sheer size before, ankle surgery, my knees are screaming at me. It's a lot easier to maintain my body as well. So there's a lot of positives come out from shifting the timber. It was for the sporting reason in terms of what was demanded of me technically.
So we're going to get back to you two in a second, but I've got a great segue, so I'm going to have to use it and go back to Sam down the end.
Why?
And that was at the very start, when you started talking, you said you found yourself in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And I've heard that Hurricane Hannah, may have a nickname for our man on the end.
She's killed
Why
me.
is it called pickle, Sam?
And what would that nickname be?
Do I have to disclose this?
Yeah.
Do I have to?
You can just say it and we'll move on.
You got a pet name?
Pickle, pickle.
No, it's not. It's not as nice as that. It's not as nice as that. It's black pickle.
And that is exactly what I've heard.
Is that
And I'm not
lie,
sure that we
that's
need to go.
no lie.
And the reason for the fact that we'll move on from that is that could get non-kid friendly very quickly, I think.
Swiftly.
But there is also another nickname she gives you as well. Michael, and
I haven't got my accreditation with me, but if you looked at it, you'd see a massive afro. Kick back to Jackson 5, Soul Train. I do like Michael Jackson. So.
And well, yesterday we had some rapping. The other day we had some rapping on the show, and we also had some beatboxing, some dancing from the American crew. So maybe while we're here, you could prepare in your head a little bit of a bust out Jackson 5-esque move / singing for us. Also, but you're happy to sing?
I'll consider it.
All right, we're revealing hidden talents all over Paralympic athletics at the moment.
I'm going to leave.
just be the evidence.
Don't worry. The Easy E over here. I busted out some rapping yesterday, so don't be too worried. Exactly. I took straight out of Compton, took Easy E's verse, and I whipped it round to Evan. Easy E.
Easy Evan.
Now, I heard, Georgie, that you almost went through life and we lost you. As an athletics world, we almost lost you at a very young age.
Yeah, no, I think I was at club level till about 14, 15, and then I walked away from it all, just because I wasn't willing to accept that I had a disability. So I was 14, 15, and back then, drinking and hanging around with your friends.
Whoa, 14, 15? I don't know what they're doing over in
18. Hanging around in the park.
Sweeties.
You mean drinking Coca-Cola? Oh, I mean, sorry, any unbranded soft drink.
It was, much more appealing, and I think because it was purely because the way it ended is that my coach at the time came up to me and said, you should do para sport. And at the time, I didn't even know that I had CP.
Yeah.
I just thought I had a weak arm and a weak leg. So I was extremely upset, and so I just after that took a step back from track for 2 years.
Yeah, there is obviously, and we've pointed it out in a number of the Periscope sessions now, that there is a very serious side to most of the disabilities, or if not all of the disabilities of the athletes competing here at Doha 2015, hashtag Doha 2015, hashtag Beyond Incredible. But the serious side normally comes with obviously a little bit of banter. Tell us, because I'm a 38, I've got cerebral palsy as well. So tell us a little bit about your disability, and then we'll lead into learning a little bit about everybody else's disability. So there's a way for you guys to just have a little bit of preparation. Yeah, see what I did there?
So I don't know a lot. So because I didn't even know I had CP till I went through classification. So I've got hemiplegia, so that's one side, and I'm left side affected. So it affects everything from like my eye that wanders slightly, and my arm and my leg and my foot. And so I have leg length deficiency, and I just can't use my left hand to onto my right. So very right side up. So that's coordination, balance, all those things.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I'm on the left side, but obviously mine is very mild, and I'm lucky that I'm very different to most of the athletes here competing in that I can hide, and we both can, to an extent, hide in normal society and do what we want, which obviously accidentally leads to a couple of funny situations for me. I was in a university class one day, and we were talking about disabled access and to buildings and parks and the like, and designing for disabled people. And one of the girls stood up and she said, like, why do we need to waste our money designing things? You know, we're wasting all our council's money. We could be designing nice things, but instead we have to fit to all these rules with ramps and stuff like that. And everybody else pretty much in the class knew that I was a Paralympian and that obviously I have something to say, and everyone just gone, oh dear. But I was pretty nice to her, obviously, because we don't want to be mean all the time. Joe.
Yeah.
Let's hear a little bit about your story.
Obviously, I'm the one that's in the chair.
Yeah.
bit more visible than the most. I'm a spinal cord injury, high level, so I'm a tetraplegic. I pretty much means that my legs don't work, my core doesn't work, and just about with my legs. Not very much in my wrist. So I'm the one that you see sat in the corner not being able to get out because his carpet's too thick or the grass is too long and everyone's just laughing saying,
And is it alright if we talk about what happened?
Yeah, 4.5 years ago now, I had a tumour on my spinal cord, and they gave me an operation to remove it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a funny story, really.
It's a really funny story.
But I went for a scan a week before Christmas, and they said to me, "We'll probably never see you again. It's probably just a trapped nerve or something. Don't worry about it." And I got in my car and drove down to Yorkshire for to see my parents for Christmas, and within 2 minutes, half an hour, they were trying to get hold of me. Thankfully, I wasn't home, so they didn't get hold of me. So I had Christmas at home, and then when I got back, they sort of managed to get hold of me and say, "Actually, we need to see you." So I went in, they put up a scan, and I saw a tumour on my spinal cord and said, "We need to put it down." There was a 0.01% chance of paralysed.
Doctors these days, what do they know?
The first conversation I had with the doctor afterwards was, "Well, someone's got to be the percentage." Yeah, I think that.
And I've been told by my spider as well to ask you a little bit about your rehab. Don't worry, it's not too, we're not going too deep in here yet. I've got more coming. My spiders, they're everywhere. I've been asked to talk to you about your rehab, and that's all I have. So you can be funny, or I don't know.
There's a few funny stories. I don't know, people might not know, but me and Sammy Hickle, we were in rehab together. So she obviously is doing awesome out here, but we had a few funny stories together. There was a good one where, one night, hospital's a strange place. You've been there for 6 months, and it's like prison, you know? So 9 o'clock came, and no visitors were allowed, and it was our playtime. We were sat in the corridor one day, and we were like, "Can you roll?" "I don't know. Can you roll?" "I don't know. Let's try." So we somehow managed to get off the floor, started rolling about, or trying to, waddling more like, until a security guard came around, said, "There's cameras up there, we've been watching you for the last half an hour."
He's just chilling back there with a box of popcorn and having a good time. So, waddling around the floor, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I've got a couple of words. Human Skittles. That's all I know, and I'm supposed to throw that at you, and there's supposed to be a story, but
Do you remember that one?
hopefully this is going to work.
Human Skittles.
In Berlin with Holly.
Oh, yes. You had that, didn't you?
We were at my first international competition when I got classified in Berlin last year, and Holly.
It's alright, I do that all the time.
What's her name?
Neil.
Holly Neal was pushing me, so you couldn't really see Holly behind me. Holly pushing me in the
For those that don't know, of course I knew that because I've been doing lots of research.
Is it not short stature now? Yeah. Anyway, so she was pushing me around the free streets of Berlin, so nobody could see her. And her game was to knock as many people down as she could. And actually see how many people apologise for us knocking them down.
It's funny when you're on the streets. I know when I'm walking around with Scott Reardon and the guys with his kind of disability where they've got the big leg obviously on display that's their prosthetic, and you see little kids, like 2-3-year-old kids walking along with their parents, and they're holding their hand, and the parent's just walking along slowly. The parent has like a polite glance, and that guy's missing a leg, and the kid just goes, and boom, straight into a pole or something like that. When it's funny, like when as a kid, you can't. There's nothing wrong with a kid looking at a leg like that, but sometimes I see an adult doing it, and I just stare back at them until they realise that I'm staring at them, and they're staring at Scotty, and then eventually Bear. The Bear is your nickname. Where's that come from?
I don't know. It was something that people started calling me back home after London on social media, and it kind of took off from there. Kind of embraced it.
Yeah.
I was probably seen more of a big cuddly bear back then.
Because in the Australian team we have Chad, hashtag White Tiger Paris, who's a man with albinism, but we call him the White Tiger. So, and he's running this season in a singlet that I've designed for him, which is white with black tiger stripes all over it.
Nice.
And I managed to get a little emblem on there for my cafe that I own.
Okay.
So good product placement. But and that's how I got away with making it for him. Otherwise, I'd be like, mate, you owe me. But he's wearing the white tiger singlet. Maybe you could get like one of the bears, like a bear singlet, and you could have fur. Like real fur.
I mean, it's something that I should probably take.
Because Ben Harradine that we spoke about earlier, who with the willet throw, the club throw, he also wears.
Yeah, I've seen some.
He goes to international comps and he wears outrageous costumes. So
some great ones, I'll tell you that.
I reckon we'd get some clicks.
I think it's something that someone's out there that can do it.
Yeah, and because you
definitely meant to embrace it.
You started as the bear when obviously everyone saw you in London. You're a little bit larger. You've trimmed down. So do you think of yourself as a different type of bear now? Because maybe you were a polar bear before.
More of a cub, you mean?
Yeah. I was quickly trying to think in my head like which bears are thin and which bears are fat, but I think they're all big.
And I like it. I mean, because it can be aggressive, but it also can be friendly.
Yeah. And it bears quite a commanding
You want to get on the wrong side of a bit.
No.
Let's put it that way.
And bears kind of a bit of a commanding position to be in, because you were also captain, I believe, of the Commonwealth Games team.
Yeah, Team Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was pretty special.
So is that able-bodied end to say that you were captain of?
Yeah.
And by yourself?
Yeah, so I was the youngest and the youngest captain of Team Wales ever put in place. Only the second one, I think Tanny Ray Thompson was the first Paralympian to captain the able-bodied and Paralympian team. But I'm a very patriotic Welshman, so it's very close to my heart. So it was an honour to not only compete for Wales because it's something rare that as Paralympians get a chance to do, but also lead the team. I just happened to be Wales' greatest ever team as well. So,
awesome. That's
awesome. It was a great achievement.
Big raps.
So something I'll cherish forever. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because as I said at the start of the show, at GB, you guys just do Paralympic sport better than most people. And as an Australian, I don't want to give you props, but it's just the case. Like you guys, you've got good since London. Everything's come alive. You're getting sponsorships coming in for athletes and things like that. But none of that in Australia at the moment. So if anyone's watching in Australia, any corporate people, get on board with. I'm injured. You don't need to come on board with me. But if you want to, it's all right. And also, if there's any universities watching, Michael McKillop and Jason Smith, the world's fastest Paralympian, they have honorary doctorates from the Belfast, the Queen's University in Belfast. And I'm a little bit jealous because they get to put doctor in front of their name on their driver's license. And
Hannah's also a doctor.
Yeah, but can they drive?
Really?
Hannah's also, she was going to be given an honorary doctorate from University of Bradford.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so there's honorary doctorates being handed out left, right, and centre around the IBC athletics world. If anyone fancies a doctor on the panel, or myself, any Australian universities, please get in contact with me at Evan O'Hanlon on Twitter.
Really wants that doctor.
I was also thinking at one stage, I found out that if you buy land in, I think Scotland,
Or you get to be a lord.
you get to be a lord, or lard, as they call it over there. So I was looking online. There's all these companies that sell postage-sized stamp, little tiny pieces of land in Scotland, so you can own your own piece of land, and you get a certificate saying you're a lord. You can go into the car registry in Australia and just go, "I'd like you to change my name to Lord, thank you." So I could be Lord Dr. Evan O'Hanlon. That would be pretty cool.
Titles.
And then I could also be entrepreneur because I've got a business idea to pitch across the board, really, but it really works well for cerebral palsy. So yesterday, the other day, with Team USA, I had an idea for, everyone knows Tinder, obviously, but in Paralympic sport, meeting people can be hard, especially when you're vision impaired.
Yeah.
Right? Tinder doesn't work because you need to swipe and you need to be able to see the person. So my idea was
pretty crucial.
Belinda for blind athletes, where you go on and you click, you you go in, because they can use their phone and their phone talks to them, obviously, so they can still use their phone. Any smartphone that is, non-branded. And they can click in, and instead of seeing photos of people, they can listen to the voice of the person on the other end, so you record little clips. And that's how we got into the rapping, because David Brown's a bit of a poet, and he makes his own beats, and obviously Richard Brown will try anything, so we got into the poetry and the rapping that way. But I pitched that idea to them, and they thought Linda was pretty good. Wait for it. I've gone back to the drawing board. 3 a.m. last night in the hotel room. The light came on. Like, it was dark, but a light came on. It came out of my eyes and lit up the room. It was that good. Spinder for CP Inder, right? Spinder. And a lot of people, if you want to go online and see this, I actually have photos of my brain from when I was young. And they did the scan to find out that I had cerebral palsy. I was in hospital with asthma, and the doctor saw it because he came in and I was eating food, and they just put a drip in my hand, in my arm, and so it should have been really uncomfortable for my right hand. The doctor came in and he's like, what's he doing? Because I was eating food, and I was like, eating? And he goes, no, with his right hand, what's he doing? He's right-handed. Mums, they think they know. Better be quiet, there's a mum on the panel. Mums always think they know what they're talking about, but the doctor then explained, like, no, at that age, when you have a drip in your hand, it would be uncomfortable and you'd switch to your left hand. So when you're watching the video and my left hand's just waving about, looking quite, I don't know what the politically correct word for retarded is, but special.
Spastic.
Yeah. We're allowed to say spastic. That's the type of CP.
Medical diagnosis. Thank you.
That's the medical diagnosis. It's like when you're growing up in school and someone's like, yeah, you're a spastic. I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah,
what?
It's true.
So I don't know where I am, but my business idea, get back to my business idea, because that's where I'm going to make all my cash, is that we all have, or most of us have pictures of our brain, or we can get them, right? And we know that it's not what's on the outside, but it's what's on the inside that matters for love.
He's even practiced this up.
So, Spinder, you get to go on, and instead of looking at their Facebook profile pictures, I think that's how Tinder works, because I've never been a single man when Tinder's been around, so I definitely don't know how it works. You get to go on and look at pictures of their brain and see what matches up with you.
Can you imagine the
Yeah, that's not going to be it. That's not going to be
I'm talking about the brain.
Yeah, I like brains.
I did think about doing it for amputees as well, but then I thought, no, there's already enough of that.
Well, look at each other's stuff.
We don't need to start any more of that. So Spinder, you get to go online, check out the other person's brain, because it is what's on the inside that counts, and you get to check out how their brain works before you get to meet them. No? Okay. Linda went down much better. No, David actually said that voice can be quite deceiving, so he wasn't too sure on the whole Linda idea either. Okay, so serious questions as well. We've spoken to all the athletes that we've had on about their stories, and you guys have told a little bit about your story. You haven't. You two on the end of the panel haven't spoken about your disability and your story growing up. So, nice way to jump in there. Who wants to go first? Come on.
Okay. I also have cerebral palsy. Blessed disability that it is. I was diagnosed at birth with spastic quadriplegia, so that affects all 4 limbs. I was born premature. I was born at 6 months. Usual story: lack of oxygen to the brain, so not very much muscle development. And then it was re-diagnosed through childhood development as diplegia. So it affects my hands when I'm doing really complex exercises, and I do start having really tight spasms in my hands. But for the purpose of competition, I'm a 35, so I compete against other athletes with diplegia, which is where I'm predominantly
complex. It affects you when you're doing complex tasks,
Complex,
like
single
helping people
leg.
move house as well.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, because I heard that you managed to rip a door off a cupboard when you were helping Hurricane Hannah. You'd think that she's the one doing all this.
Just get into this
You
conversation.
would think that she, being named Hurricane Hannah, would be doing all the
Be the one
damage
doing
around the
the
place,
wrecking.
breaking helmet cases and ripping doors off. Tell us about what happened. And I heard you tried to get away with it.
Yeah, I tried to fix it, and that didn't work out very well. I'm going to blame it on my cerebral palsy. I had a bit of a spasm, and I lost my balance and leant on the cupboard door as it was open, and it fell off. I blame rubbish carpentry. That's what I down to.
I like to blame things on my cerebral palsy as well.
Best
And
excuse.
I always forget people's names. I'm terrible with maths and dates and things. I've got 5 sisters, I said earlier, so I know about 2 of their birthdays. And my parents have to text me every year to let me know. Oh, Elsa, Ailey's birthday's coming up, Elsa's birthday's coming up. But then they don't message me on the day, and they message me the next day and go, "Oh, I told you last week that it was their birthday. It was yesterday." Oh, thanks, Mum and Dad.
It's not really their fault, is it? Let's
But
face
I've
it.
got brain damage. I've got brain damage.
Keyword being cerebral.
People need to help me out
So
here.
that stops you writing things down.
Yeah. No. It doesn't stop me from writing things down, but it does stop me from remembering things, you know. And also my style of organisation, which is everything's filed under F for floor. I like to blame that on my cerebral palsy as well, because you know everything's obviously rewired in there. I just have a different way of organising to other people, and I know where everything is.
It's good to be different.
Is that why you do trainers all over
Yeah,
the
because you guys are roomies.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the roomie action, because I've heard some stories going on here too.
Well,
There's a little bit of
Still have to
going
get,
on.
we still have to get back to you and your disability. This is a good segue, so we'll run with it.
yeah.
Not literally run with it, because obviously.
Yeah,
If you're
that's not
if
gonna
you're a
happen.
segue, you can run.
There's a little bit of going on.
Yeah.
Gavin, we met each other 2 weeks ago.
We first met
Yeah,
we got.
Well, geez, they're throwing you together quickly for a championship.
Yeah. We've known each other twice. We met each other twice.
We've met each other twice.
Yeah, and actually, we found out that a few days before we came out here.
Wicked combination.
And we said, well, you know, it's a bit more of an adult room, we'll be grown up, you know, a little bit of mature.
It
Yeah,
definitely was, because I heard there's a photo getting around somewhere of you in the bar under her underpants.
She put it on Facebook and tagged me.
I was looking for it on Twitter, I was on the wrong platform.
I know, yeah, we wouldn't like Twitter. Twitter's
That's
professional.
all professional. That's professional. But no, it's kind of.
These GB athletes, they know what's professional and what's unprofessional. I just go blasting off all over the place. You guys have had too much media training. Us down in Australia, we're just rough and raw, just getting around, doing what we want. You guys are
No, it's pretty
polished.
good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
She's now starting
But
to learn to
what were
portray.
you doing in the bar with her underwear?
I was hanging.
Oh.
I thought we were washing.
I thought it was getting washed at the same time as you. I thought she was doing a washing and you just decided you
In
needed.
the essence of Georgie.
I did take a
Because,
picture.
and I was going to say like, oh, well, it still works anyway, because you don't need to wash your underpants. You won. Richard Brown, I had him on the other day. He said if he runs well at the start of the season, he wears the same kit every time he races without washing.
Without washing.
Yeah.
That's just nasty. No.
Imagine if you were in room with him here in Doha, because think about how hot it is at the track.
What's the thing?
It's
You're really
hot and
sweaty.
sweaty out there.
Smelly.
After that 200 he ran the other day, he pushed himself pretty hard. I don't want to be in his room, because that could get nasty. Nasty, as Richard would say. Nasty. Let's talk about you, your story, and your disability.
So I was born with something called hemilia. When I was born, my right leg was bent up, wrapped around my neck. So they had to break it in multiple places. They removed bone from my hip to create the lower half with some metal. I don't have ligaments in my right knee and the femur short, so this really starts at the hip. And basically I've had framework my whole life. Every year and a bit until I was about 17 to manually grow the leg. And with no muscle growth and whatnot, I wear a brace to kind of allow me to.
Yeah, I've seen that because you actually compete in the F42 class, which is traditionally most of the athletes are missing their leg, they're amputated. But you compete because you fit with them, because you don't obviously have the muscle and the tendons, and you've had to break it so many times through surgery to grow it.
So, I mean, functionality wise, I haven't got the coffee sprung blade and whatnot, but I'm in that category, and I mean, it's a very competitive class as well. I mean, if you look at the lineup, everyone's got a different disability, so it is complicated for people to understand, but if you look at it, everyone has disability through the knee, if not above it. That's the way I look at it.
Yep, that's a perfect explanation. That's exactly what I said on the live stream the other day. No, it's interesting because I've never really, when I'm here running, normally I'm just sitting in my hotel room and racing, and I don't really have to sit through a whole session of athletics, and normally I wouldn't have to explain to someone what exactly all the categories are and how they work and why some people are missing parts and other people aren't, and things like that. So it's really quite challenging for me to be here in Doha. Hashtag Doha 2015. Hashtag Beyond Incredible. These three here are hashtag Beyond Incredible.
Gold medalists.
He's just hashtag incredible.
Average.
Beyond.
Just hashtag Beyond. He's hoping Hannah comes home with a couple of golds so he can share them around and just walk around with one.
It's weird though you should say about like disability and whatnot, because I mean my first major was the Junior Worlds in 2006.
Yeah, the IWAS.
Yeah,
which I've never heard of before until I had to start commentating about it.
Yeah, I was in Dublin, and I was only like 13 or 14, and I think every major I've been to since then, I've seen or been introduced to a new disability.
Yeah.
And that kind of blows my mind, because I'm like, what is that? What is he? I just want to go and ask, because I like learning about it.
And that's the awesome thing. We had this discussion as well. That's the awesome thing about Paralympic sport, because all of the people have a different story. They've all been through something in their life, but a lot of them are very at home with their disability. So they just walk around. They're like, yeah, I got no hands, but I'm eating dinner with a knife and fork.
Yeah.
Look, no hands, mum.
Eating food with their feet, which I think is incredible.
Yeah. There was a Chinese boy that I took a photo of in the dining hall. I'm not sure I should say this because I didn't get his permission in London, because he was using a knife and fork with his feet at the table.
I believe it or not, I used to be a swimmer before athletics. I know people may think of how, but
Hashtag polar bear.
Yeah. Or submarine. I remember there was a young chap in the school, and he could put his goggles on his feet. He was a double.
What?
Yeah.
I can't put goggles on.
Yeah, in general. Honestly, he put it on, and I just thought, oh, that is just something else.
Goggles.
That's a party trick.
Goggles with cerebral palsy is just, I'm sure you're the same. Yeah. Just smashing yourself in the back of the head all the time, trying to get them on. There's a bit of a technique to it. I said there's a serious part, because we all have a story, everything like that. Everyone looks at, obviously, the disability, and that's what we're here for. So we're okay with people looking at our disability, but they always tend to think about what happened to us or what we've been born with as really affecting our lives, and possibly, and more often than not, in a bad way, it affects our life. But I spoke to the boys yesterday about how you think it's affected your life in a more positive way. Like, what are the things you reckon you achieved in your life, or done in your life, or people you've met in your life that you definitely wouldn't have had a chance to do if you didn't have a disability? We'll start down this end of town.
I'm still new to it. It's only been a few years. I feel like a baby, to be honest. It's a tough one.
Well, you wouldn't have got a gold medal. That's
true.
But other than sport.
Other than sport, I'm not willing to get a bit sorted out, but I'm much more grateful.
Yeah.
For everything that I can do, everything that I can do. Every day someone tells me and reminds me what I can't do. So I kind of forget about that and think about what I can do.
Yeah, I like that. it's a similar approach to, now we're really going to test my commentary skills. The Brazilian girl, Anyway, the Brazilian girl in the T11 class, 100, 200 metres, she's the ambassador for Doha 2015. She wears all the colours.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it.
Wilhelmina.
Wilhelmina. You've got a new career, haven't you?
Just firing shots back.
Do you want to sit here? Yeah, you're just trying to get me back. You're like, yeah, it's killing me. Just all those Hannah comments, thanks, man. Wilhelmina, she has a really good quote, and it's similar to yours. She said, my world is already dark enough, so I wear all these colours in my hair and on her face on the mask to brighten up everyone else's world. So it's similar, like, she's able to appreciate that while her world is dark and while you've had an accident, you've actually been able to see something positive for yourself, and also because you can inspire other people. Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a bit of me. The other bit is that I try not to get really involved with that bit of a chip on the shoulder when people sort of look down at you and feel sorry. But I try to remember that actually, someone's just trying to, they're not really trying to make you feel worse.
Yeah. We're all like that. Everyone that offers us help, we go, no, I can do this! I can tie my shoelace by myself.
Excellent.
What would you say that you've achieved in your life that you wouldn't have been able to achieve if you hadn't had a disability?
The only thing I think of is that I was born with this unbelievable amount of determination to achieve something, and it was like when I was a kid, I used to tell my family that I was completely limitless, because before I realised that I was different, that was in my head I was that good.
Yeah, I feel like my missing part of my brain and having cerebral palsy has made me really determined as well. So maybe it's just the rewiring.
I think I was thinking about my left leg, my right, but no, I'm working progress. But no, do you know what? It's just in Dubai. Someone said to me, "You're an MBF." I was like, "What's that?" You're just such a natural born fighter, just unwilling to give up, and I put that solely down to my disability.
And quickly, because we're getting to wrap up, one thing from each of you two boys, one sentence. What have you done in your life that you wouldn't have been able to do without a disability?
Probably change perception. I wouldn't wear shorts until I was about 16, 17. I think another 2012 helped with cap Periscope 20 years forward. That people and children are starting to embrace. I think
I said one sentence.
so. People are embracing this.
Same on you. Make it good because we're about to finish.
It's allowed me to prove not just others wrong but myself wrong. I've been able to achieve things I never thought I could through this sport. Yeah, that's cerebral palsy. We're so stubborn, man. You understand.
Yeah.
We're just so, we never say no, and if you tell us no, we'll just prove you wrong.
And not to mention that you wouldn't have met
That's true.
Hurricane Hannah.
Yeah.
And I'm the same. I wouldn't have met my fiance if I hadn't been doing sports. She's an Olympian, so she was here. She was in Canberra training at the Australian Institute of Sport from the Czech Republic, and that's how I met her. So there we go. All right, we've heard everything from Team GP today down here at #Doha 2015. #Beyond Incredible. These boys and girls are incredible. Thanks for having us. I'm Evan O'Hanlon. See you later.